I made a promise to myself when I was maybe 6 or 7, I think we all do, of like, you will never grow up, you will never not be happy, life will be just as fun as it is right now forever. And I promised my older self, and here I am. I'm 24, and things are a little different to what I thought. I would like make out with girls at parties and kind of blame it on the fact that I was drunk and like, you know, trying to impress everyone, but really it was so cool to kiss a girl.
Hi, this is Lauren Engel. Today I'm here with Dodie.
Hello!
So you're originally born in Epping, or how do you say it?
Oh, I was actually born in Enfield, which is a place in London, but we moved to Epping when I was about 6.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like right on the edge of London. I probably wouldn't say it was London actually. It's just a nice little town in England.
You moved for your parents' job?
I don't really know why we moved. I think we just wanted to change the scene. London's very busy, and yeah, we wanted somewhere slightly outside. There's a dog. There's a dog. Hello, friend. Hi. Oh, hello. How are you? I love that in LA you talk to people's dogs more than you do with people. True. You don't bother saying hi to them. You're like, hello, dog. Hello.
And your parents were originally from Epping as well, or where were they originally born?
Honestly, I don't know. My dad's Scottish. My mum's from London. Definitely a North Londoner.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, super English. Well, British, because Dad is Scottish, so somewhere in the UK.
What are their careers?
I could not tell you my dad's career. Something to do with finance. We'll go with that.
Okay.
And my mum does a variety of things. She's currently working, I think, with the police, funnily enough.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's just like a fun office job, but yeah, she's a busy mum.
Yeah. Would you say you got your creative side from her?
I definitely got like my feelings side from her. My mum is very like spiritual and likes to think about art a lot. My dad loves music. My dad was the one who kind of brought me to music. Yeah, definitely.
What kind of music was he playing in the house when you were growing up?
Well, he controlled my iPod in the early ages when everyone was listening to music. So that was a good and a bad thing, because I wasn't very clued in on a lot of what my friends were listening to, which didn't help me in popularity in school.
Skipped all the Spice Girls.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like secretly found that. I think my mum maybe bought me stuff and I was like listening to it. But yeah, he gave me like his entire music library, but I picked out my favourites. So I picked out like Stevie Wonder, Electric Light Orchestra, the Beatles, I like some Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yeah, don't know, just like little things from this vast music library of like 70s, 80s, 60s stuff.
And were you already like writing songs back then, trying to make music, or not yet?
I guess so, in like my own way. I was a very dramatic child, so I had my own little camcorder when I was about like 11, 12, 13, and I'd just film myself singing, pretending that I was in a music video, and I'd like sing little phrases out windows, but I don't think I had like a solid song until I was like maybe 11 or 12. Or like I wrote a chorus just to kind of like practice. Yeah. And then my first like evidence of like a whole song is a song that is on my channel. It's still there. It was my first one on my main channel called Rain. Yes, called Rain.
Did you like school growing up?
Yeah, I loved it. Honestly, like obviously like it just felt like it was gonna go on forever and ever. Like it would just stretch out in front of me, and yeah, I don't know, like it had its dull moments, but ultimately I was like a very happy child, so happy. And then like, yeah, it's weird when it ends and suddenly you face the rest of your life and you're like, oh. Yeah,
that was pretty like a big changing point when you were 16, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Or like, I guess I went to sixth form, which is like 2 years. I guess it's kind of like you can either go to college or sixth form. I went to sixth form, which is, for me, it was more like school. So I stayed at my school until I was 18. Then when I was 18, I left school. I did not go to university because I don't know, I thought I was going to take a break, like a gap year, to just kind of see where things were going. but it turned out to be more than that, and I never went back to education. Well, not yet. Anyway, who knows? I might return. Oh, my hair's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
I'll just keep brushing back.
What kind of advice do you have for people who are going through like parents divorcing or bad breakups, what you were going through when you were 16?
Oof. I mean, I'm going through parents divorcing right now. Yeah, it's really strange. It's really strange to have the future change right in front of your eyes, and like everything that you thought was true just completely fall away from you. That's really messing me up, and I think will for a while, has for a while. So I would just say, kind of like take whatever you can from it, learn from it, because it sounds really cheesy, but life is change. Life is all of these things, and I recently had something happen to me where something was going to change. Basically, I thought a friend was moving out, or like my circumstances would change, and I kind of built myself up towards it. Like I was planning my life around it, and I was very nervous about it, and like, because change is something that really affects me. And then there was a hint towards the fact that it might not happen, and I realized that I did want it, and like it felt like someone from the future going back in time and like almost halting the point where it could have changed, which is what I want to do so much sometimes. And I kind of felt like someone had done that, and I went, no, I think I do need this change. I do want it. So that was really helpful to learn, that sometimes you'll be surprised at how ready you are for things to move on.
And I found this really interesting that you said in a previous interview that you really just didn't want to grow up back then.
Yes. Yeah, I think I made a promise to myself when I was maybe 6 or 7, I think we all do, of like, you will never grow up, you will never not be happy, life will be just as fun as it is right now forever. And I promised my older self, and here I am. I'm 24, and things are a little different to what I thought, but yeah, you just kind of learn as you grow that's not the case. And I don't know, sometimes I'll get little 7-year-old moments, but mostly I'm very much 24.
And then when you decided not to go to college, was that when you were working on your YouTube? Was that 2011?
Yeah, well, like 2013.
Okay.
Yes, because my school finished then. And yeah, like 2013, 2014, 2015, I was working a few jobs whilst also posting online, writing songs, making a lot of vlog content, which was an interesting time in my life. And like, yeah, like doing a lot of brand deals. There was a crisis in my family in like 2016, which meant that I wanted to kind of save everyone, so I tried to earn a lot more by doing like every brand deal I could, and like making a lot of videos. And ironically, I think that like boosted my career because I was working so hard to help my family.
I love that.
But yeah, very strange, really weird when life does that. Yeah.
Actually, where do you think you got that like business side of you from? Because
God knows.
How old were you? Like 18, 19, like negotiating all these brand deals? That's super impressive.
Honestly, God knows. I was absolutely terrified. I still remember getting my first one. And yeah, I just didn't know how to I still don't know how to email properly. I think I'm at the point now where like my team are very nice and know exactly how I am, so I can just email them like and text them whatever I want. But at the time when I was trying to negotiate it all on my own, I did not know what I was doing. But yeah, it's really weird to kind of be like, people say that I'm driven and hardworking and I've done so well, and I'm like, this is all, I don't know how I did this. It wasn't planned. Nothing was planned. I just like rolled with the punches and did the best I could.
Were you still living with your parents during this time, or did you already move out when you were doing all this?
I was living at my home until I hit I guess as soon as I finished school, I moved to a place called Bath, which was like across the country, which was an interesting time. I think I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know, because you might be the kind of person who will make new friends and thrive in a new environment, but I think it was maybe the worst thing I could have done.
Wow.
Yeah, I moved in winter and I was very alone. I had a boyfriend who was not very nice to me, and yeah, it did not do wonders for my mental health. I learned a lot from it, but I would not do it again. But yeah, then I moved back home, got a job in London, moved out as soon as I could, because at this time family stuff was getting a little tricky, and then it all kind of blew up in 2016. when I turned like 21, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, my family house got sold in 2017, and I think that's the main thing I talk about when I talk about change and things moving on, because that really affects me still. I miss it a lot.
And was it from the onset, were you always this vulnerable online, or was it something that you had to break into?
No, I don't think so. I think I naturally shared myself, and I think I was pretty happy up until 17, 18, when things started to creep in my life and my brain, and then I couldn't figure out a way to keep up this happy persona because I was sharing so much good, and then suddenly I wasn't feeling so good, and I was like, I need to figure out a way to be honest with everyone, and luckily I shared what I was actually feeling, and it was well received at the time. I think people appreciated the honesty. Now it's a little more difficult, like in getting bigger and having more people listening. It can be very scary to share your inner feelings because people aren't as kind when there's more of them. I don't know why. It makes them feel smaller, and like their voices won't be heard, so they just chuck out anything mean, and it hurts. It still hurts. So I think I'm a bit more guarded now.
Yeah. Do you think it's also the times changed, that back then people weren't really like writing those comments? At the very beginning, like people weren't really writing like hateful stuff, I feel like. Now that I think back, like YouTube 10 years ago or whatever it was.
I think like hate comments back then were like, your t-shirt sucks, or like, you know, I don't like this, and you can kind of like they kind of roll off, at least for me personally. But nowadays, like
they're targeted.
When I say a hate comment, I mean like this long, like going in depth about my life and picking me apart from the small amount that they've seen and thinking that they can and that they're allowed to do that. That is not fun. And it's made me really take a step back online.
Yeah, actually, how do you deal with that? Because you want to be vulnerable and tell like your fans what you're going through, but at the same time you're like hit with this. Like, do you think you're gonna make like less videos, or how are you gonna like get over the obstacle? Or
I think it's been really fun to kind of share what I can in my songwriting, because that's productive in my music career and also in learning how to share and be vulnerable, but in a very safe way, because I feel like I'm getting a lot out there, but I'm not giving everyone the details that they need, you know, or that I feel like they need. But also, I guess like I haven't made too many chatty videos now. I am a little scared. It's weird because I miss it. Like like people keep saying in a lot of interviews, they're like, you used to be online, you used to be on YouTube, and I'm like, I mean, I still am. Like I make videos now and again, but I guess I just haven't made that many recently because I haven't figured out a way to be there and like get that damage that will inevitably happen because the online world is the way that it is now, and still be okay. But I'm working on it. Yeah.
When you first started to get into music, you said in previous interviews that it was hard for like producers to take you seriously. Because of all the YouTube, But they realized that you were like super talented, so.
Yeah. I mean, luckily now I'm working with a lot of people who are really nice to me, but there were a few writing sessions that were very interesting. I think people, I mean, firstly, like I dress like a child and I'm like a woman and a girl with like a squeaky voice, and I used to play a ukulele. People just used to like, you know, look away and be like, I do not take you seriously at all. And also the YouTube stuff, like YouTube, ukulele, girl, does not matter. But now I think, and that's what's so great about YouTube as well, like people will listen, and like as well as the interesting comments online, I cannot forget I have hundreds and thousands of people who are just so nice, and we're all part of this incredible community of people who hurt and like connect over music and feelings and art, and like it's been so nice to grow that and then show the world like, hey, look, you thought I didn't matter, but look at what we've done.
Yeah, I love that. And was there a specific turning point that you decided to like double down into music, like music manager, separate from your like YouTube side?
Yeah, I mean, like I think the first video I posted on my channel was an original song. I used to post like original songs like weekly, and then I'd do covers on my side channel and occasionally on my main channel, and then like because I started, I was a fan of YouTube. That's why I started, and I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more online. And then around 2015, 16, 17 mark, I think I was very much splitting like music and YouTuber as like a career. And like I wrote a book, which I'm still very pleased I did, because I got a lot of stuff that I wanted to share out there in like a really nice way.
Yeah, actually, with your book, like what were the main inspirations, or who were you looking to that made you wanted to write this book?
I don't really know, like I saw a lot of, I would write a lot online. I had a friend called Shannon who would like share her feelings on Instagram, and honestly I copied that. I need to apologise to her. I copied that, and that really inspired me, but it meant that I had a lot of paragraphs, or like almost diary entries, that were like feelings behind the songs that I was writing, and it felt really good to put those in a nice neat book form, and almost like metaphorically close the chapter of that part of my life, which was a lot of struggling and mental health issues that I kind of felt like I came through the other side. But yeah, I felt like I was closing a chapter on like that part of my life, but also like sharing so much in depth online and the whole like YouTube part. And then I think from then on I took a step back and was like, all right, I think I want to mostly share in music now, and occasionally talk online, but with a nice boundary up.
Actually, do you have certain authors or type of books that you read?
I love short stories. I love short stories. The one I keep dipping back into is Tom Hanks has written a book called Uncommon Type.
Oh.
It's so good. It's so good. And like they all have they all contain a typewriter in the story. But mostly it's just so human. Like the way he writes is so objective from the world. He I can't really describe it. He's just, you know how charming and like endearing he is. It's like his way of looking at all these characters. I think because he's an actor and he's had to explore and like be so human and empathetic towards a multitude of people, it makes him a really good writer, and like is able to hop into so many minds and hop into like what their outlook would be like. It is gorgeous. I really recommend it. Yeah, anyone who can write like so objective and descriptive and human, I love them.
And did you realize that you had depression from a really young age, or?
No, not at all. I was very happy up until about like 17, 18. When I was younger, I had zero empathy for like mental health. I did not understand it at all. Like because I was so happy, I was like, I don't understand, like let's cheer you up, let's get you outside, like go to the playground, have some cake. But yeah, like it was quite shocking for me when I realised I was feeling really dark all the time. I think it was when I went back to my house in Bath to clean it up, because you had to clean it to get your deposit back. I was really poor, it was really dark, it was really cold, all my friends were gone, I'd just broken up with someone, and I closed the door, just like cried in this empty house and realised that I was not okay. And I could barely remember any of the time I lived there because my mind was just so messed up, it didn't want to hold on to the memories. So yeah, it was really weird to finally be like, oh, I think I have depression now. And that was weird to kind of have this new identity of someone who does struggle with mental health. But I've had a few years to hold that meaning and that definition of me. Yeah.
And when did you meet Tessa Violet? I also interviewed her. She's awesome. Really? Yeah, like last week or 2 weeks ago.
Well, this is a great story. I met her in 2012. She does not remember this because I was a fan and I asked her for a picture, which I cannot find. We cannot find it anywhere. And then I met her again in 2014, I think, and pretended I did not know who she was. And our friendship was built on lies. And I told her, I think only recently, I was like, did you know I lied? I did, like, when I first met you, I definitely knew who you were. She was like, what? She's very forgiving, which is really nice of her, actually. But yeah, she's awesome.
And you said in previous interviews that you used to be like a compulsive liar.
Yes. Have I said that? Gosh. Yes, I used to be a compulsive liar. I used to do it very easily. I think that might have been the turning point of not doing that anymore. But yeah, I used to tell little lies as a kid just so I could get attention, because it was what I really craved. I used to say that I was allergic to bee stings. I was not. I used to, gosh, I don't even know, just like tell kids stories about things that just weren't true, like that my school started on Sundays, which it did not. I got caught out a few times and it shocked me to my core.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was only growing up as a teen and realising that you could be nice to people and they would give you more attention than lying. That was a nice thing to learn.
And how did you meet Lauren Aquilina? I also interviewed her.
Really?
Yeah.
She's also so cool. Damn, you interview cool women. I don't really know. She was kind of online as well, like posting songs and things. And I was a fan of Orla, and then met her, and we somehow became friends. And then I think just like growing up online and being in the music world, we naturally came together to talk. But yeah, massive fan of Lauren, Tessa, Orla, great songwriters, amazing people.
And how did you meet your team now that you're working with?
Well, a variety of people. Josh, my manager, who's walking right in front of us, he's turned his head, helped connect me with a few people. Also knowing Orla knew a guy called Pete, who's my bassist and also musical director. And we worked together a lot. He knew like a few people. Josh has a friend called Will, who owns an orchestra, which is very handy to have. So my string players come from there. And Josh works with Ministry of Sound, like a record label, so he luckily knew so many people like who I could have help with. I said that so badly. He knew so many people that would help me kind of build the team that I want and do things like touring and hiring people and all that stuff that I had no idea about.
How did you meet Elle Mills?
Oh, wow. This is where the tables turn, because Elle was a fan of me. Yes, she was a big fan. Came up to me at a YouTube convention and said, "Hi, it's so nice to meet you. I'm a big fan." I was like, "Oh, no worries," but she seemed really nice. And she tweeted me a photo after of her crying, which is really weird because she was very cool. And then we hung out a lot at that convention and became like best friends. And then Elle kind of went through a rough patch, and I really felt for her because I had also been going through a rough patch and was still in it, so I wanted to kind of help and share my mental health knowledge. She's great.
Yeah.
So great women. Do you just interview amazing women? Is that what you do?
And when did you realize that you were bi or are bi?
Pretty late on, honestly. Like, it's so weird to me now because it's so obvious. I think a lot of people can relate to this, but yeah, I had like a lot of girl crushes growing up, and was like sexually attracted to girls, but did not put two and two together because where I was from, like, you were sexualized if like women liked women. It was very, it's pretty hot to men. So I would like make out with girls at parties and kind of blame it on the fact that I was drag and like, trying to impress everyone, but really it was so cool to kiss a girl. And like, I got to like kind of half kiss a girl in drama, and that was like acting class. And then kind of like learned the labels separately from that. I knew what being gay was, but I didn't really put two and two together until like being part of the YouTube community and meeting so many other queer people, and then kind of going, oh, these things match up, and I think I am that.
When did your family find out, or how did they find out?
Well, I wrote that song called She, which is about liking a friend who was a girl. Put that out around 2000, oh god, I don't know, 14? I don't know. My dad was like, interesting, okay, and I was like, yeah. And then my mum and I were very close anyway, so we never really had like a conversation about it. Because she just knew. Well, I think when I was eventually like, oh yeah, I'm like kind of gay, right? She was like, oh yeah, I think me too, probably. And then we like talked about that.
That's awesome.
And, like, attraction. Yeah, so yeah, it was a very, very relaxed conversation. My dad recently asked me, he was like, are you just gonna be with women now? Because like your past two relationships have been girls. And I was like, I don't know, Dad, I think I'm still attracted to men. He was like, oh okay, it really is a bi thing. And I was like, yes it is. Thank you for your concern.
What's the inspiration behind Human and Guiltless?
Human I wrote a while ago. When I wrote it, I thought it was about falling in love with someone and connecting to someone very deeply. I think deep down I knew that a lot of what I was writing was very kind of codependent words. Like there's things about like I don't know, like you'll keep me intact, like you will be the glue that sticks my broken body together. So yeah, looking back now, I think I relate to it more as a feeling of desperation in love. Guiltless was about, I say this a lot, but like a complex relationship where someone's meant to look after you and be the person who you rely and lean on, but realizing that they too are a bit messed up. And yeah, I think there's a lot of forgiveness in it, or maybe a lot of like acceptance.
How would you say your music has changed compared to the early songs you wrote or made?
I was inspired a lot earlier by like, I don't really know a lot. There was a woman called Josie Vanders, who's now moved on. She's in a band called Oh Wonder, who are very cool.
Oh.
Yes. She had a solo project for a while, and then a different solo project whose lyrics I have tattooed on my arm.
Oh, no way.
She was very inspiring to me.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So I was inspired by her a lot. I guess I still am. I'm still a like female singer-songwriter. But I don't know, I guess I used to listen to a lot of like ukuleles and kind of like Noah and the Whale kind of early stuff around that time. So it was very bedroomy. I could only really play my small uke and my piano. And I didn't have a team around me, and I didn't know how to add more instruments in, so it was very small and quirky. And now I think growing up and having access to orchestras and a band, I think I write with them in mind, and so I can add more parts and more mature parts. And yeah, I think I try and be more vague with my words now. I don't know if that's true, actually. Who knows? But I don't know, I think I still have a very similar essence as to what I did back then, but maybe the sound, like, sonically has changed.
And what would you say are the inspirations for your music videos? Like any particular movies or directors?
Well, my friends are all filmmakers, so that makes it very easy for us to work together. Honestly, we're really struggling with like a running theme. I think we're all so excited and we all have our own ideas. Like when there's a song, we all kind of like pile in ideas together, so it just comes out with like it depends on what the song is. Like I guess the music video for Human was very much Ex Machina
Yeah.
Ex Machina inspired, and maybe Black Mirror inspired, and the last one, which was us falling, or me falling, was like, I don't know, we kind of more like take shots from different things. I don't know, honestly, we're still working on it. We're still working on like a running, like solid thing to relate to when I talk about my music videos.
What does love mean to you?
Love? God knows, you're asking the wrong person. I don't know.
I feel like you'll have your take on it. I want to hear it.
I think I love everyone, and there's love to be found in everyone. I think gosh, I don't know. I think caring for them and truly wanting the best for them and wanting them to see the way that you could see them, like in the best possible way. It's a physical thing, really. Like, it's hard for me because I don't feel a lot, but when I am with people who make me feel something, as in like, don't get me wrong, I feel a lot, but like it's hard for me to kind of like access them and really connect them because I feel so distant and spacey all the time. But yeah, when I'm with people who make me feel something physical in the purest sense of the word, of the phrase, I think I know I love them.
Last question, what do you want to be remembered for?
Making the most out of everything. I don't know if that's a lot of pressure to put on myself, but yeah, maybe that. And hopefully empathy, I think, because I find I don't know, I think I judge myself quite a lot. I hope that no one else judges me as hard, so I don't judge them at all, because I think I'm the weirdest person I know. So yeah, empathy and understanding, I hope.
This was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Great questions. This was so fun. It was like we got drunk and like had a deep chat. Loved it.
Bye.